Good evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. And if you guys can't tell, we have a full lineup of guest hosts and
I thought you were going to say you had 4 jokers.
right?
I don't have a full house, but I got 4 jokers.
Right. The main man I have with me on Tuesdays. Please welcome him back from his recovery from C3, Rob Fat Stacks of Comics.
It's a 12-step program. I'm getting through them. But
right?
Okay, with a mighty fine goatee, I may say.
Thank you, sir.
And then we have Mr. Steve White joining us. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Good evening, everybody. Great. Thanks for having me on.
And we have Chuck Hensey, who just slid in here at the last second, and Chris the Comic Vet style.
Good to see everybody.
Right. And
it's really some kind of combination of like, as if you like put us in the right order. It's like a progression. If you get somebody with somebody bald, no facial hair, bald with facial hair with hair, just hair. It's a progression of we're just add and subtract from one another. We're really just one person, I suppose.
Right. And then the guest of honor tonight. It's been 6 months since he's had a 10-1-1. So we have Mark Andrews here, and it doesn't feel like 6 months.
It doesn't. No. It does not.
I was looking at it today. I was like, it's really been that long?
Yeah.
But Mark's become all these gentlemen have become semi-regulars of my channel, so they live vicariously through my YouTube.
Yes, we do.
We do.
So Mark,
we don't have to do any of the work.
Right?
We orbit around Gary.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Steve. You might want to rethink. You might want to reassess. So, Mark, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing well. As usual with 10-1-1, like, okay, what am I gonna do? And pulling my hair out and putting things together. And literally, in the last hour, I decided how it was gonna go. So,
over there in Canada, he's tan, rested, and ready. So we're going to say hi to the chat, and we're going to get this thing rolling.
North of the wall.
Right.
North of the wall.
Well, don't worry. I'm feeling it here in Rochester, too. I'm like a skip rock over ice away from you guys. Hope Collector Kevin beating in Las Cruces tonight. Look at that. Wow. I don't know how Las Cruces is going to take that. How you doing, Kevin? But there's Las Cruces, nice and second. How you doing, James? Nice to see you. Scotty Vaughn, how you doing, sir? Thanks for popping in. We have Seth 11. Good evening, Seth. Nice to see you. We always call her the OG, Miss Tina Carrington. Always great to see you.
Tina.
Steve White saying hi. Mark saying hi. We have another good Canadian guy, Brad Wellbore. How you doing tonight, sir?
Out in the oil fields, chilly.
I know.
We cold.
My Devils are stressing me out. They need to get Hughes back. Mr. Matt Woods, how you doing, Matt? Nice to see you, buddy. And I know I saw that pesky Anachronic Comics in here. There he is. How you doing tonight, Joe? Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah. And also one of my favorite people ever, Jerry the Jitterbug. How you doing, Jerry?
Such good videos.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I was watching a couple earlier today. Warlord, how you doing tonight, sir? Nice to see you, buddy. Ronnie Boy Comics, good morning to you over there, sir. And I think, are we, Milt, how you doing tonight, Milt? Nice to see you, buddy.
Yes.
And Milt had a great show last week. The Nocturnal Miss So. How you doing, Miss So? Nice to see you.
Nice. Snoopy.
Right. And the comic book G-Man. How you doing, sir? Nice to see you. Yeah. Now that his schedule's changed, I'm hoping to get him on this show. He is a good dude with a lot of comics. And Mr. Bobby De La Ghetto. How you doing, Bobby? And I think, and Hack. How you doing, Hack? Nice to see you, sir. All right, we are finally caught up. So, Mark, let's turn the tables over to you, and you can get the ball rolling. And you said tonight that you went with a theme. So why don't you introduce that to us and show us your first book?
Well, I've been thinking about this. I was kind of hoping to get in when October was still around to make more sense of this, but we're really close to October, just into the first part of November. So Image and Skybound are now reintroducing us to the Universal monsters. And I kind of like horror, as you guys know. So I thought, well, maybe we could have a Universal Monsters night.
There we go. Very good.
We'll see how we do. There's some interesting books here, and there's not a lot, if any or none, modern books.
That's okay. The older, the better. I think everyone on this panel will agree.
So
perfect.
I'm just going to power through, and I'm trying not to be too much like Joe, but there may be more than one book per category. But there is a surprise at the end, because when we get to the spec book. Anyway, so like Universal Monsters, they're considered around 1923 to 1960 for the movies, roughly. And depending on what you read and who you read, depends on which was the very first Universal Monster film. So these are kind of in that order, but it's very debatable. So if somebody gets all bent out of shape because I have one monster before the other or something, please forgive me. But I know Steve is going to be all over me, and so will Chuck if I get it wrong. So anyways, the very first one that I have was a silent movie, first of all, in 1911. And then in 1923, Lon Chaney did it in silence. And what's really interesting to try to find the first appearance of this character is almost non-existent. In fact, if you go to some of those other known websites that give you key comics and you type in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you can't find him. They don't know, they don't say when this character first appeared. I can guarantee you this book is not the first appearance of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It is one of my oldest ones. So this particular one is the 1952 Hunchback of Notre Dame, because it's a classic illustrated. And I don't know I know you gentlemen are probably all aware of this, but I don't know because not a lot of people collect classics. So if it's classics illustrated like this, it's after 1947.
Right.
Okay. If the title is that configuration, it's before.
See, I did not know that.
Those classic comics are the first prints.
So this Gulliver's Travel is the first print. When you see the classic comics with that yellow banner across the top written that way, classic comics as opposed to classics illustrated,
right?
This is first edition, first print books.
Now, with the classics comics, did they do like the classics illustrated and have two different covers, or just the one?
Usually just the one, but not always.
Yeah, Frankenstein had different covers.
Yeah. Some had different covers, some had.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, usually I think a lot of them had different covers between the classic comics to the classics illustrated, but then the subsequent printings of classics illustrated maintained this more or less the same cover. It might be slightly color slightly different or slightly shift perspective, but a lot of these would be reprinted multiple times, almost every decade, almost once a decade.
Yeah. And this, in all honesty, this isn't one of my favorite covers for classics, but just trying to find a good Hunchback of Notre Dame cover. And there are some pretty interesting ones. So if you get into like this one. So this
that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. 1957. Anthony Quinn is the Hunchback. And this is with the Dell Marvel movie classics. Again, like there's not a lot of information on any of the apps about that.
Milt's gonna like that cover, a lot of green.
Yeah, and then you've got the Marvel classics, like this came out in 1975.
I love that cover.
And this is a Gil Kane cover.
Pink dress and
Marvel classics are just so severely underappreciated.
They are such good books, Chuck. I mean, and like this is all comic. There's no ads in these books.
Oh,
you may see a few more of these classics tonight.
I have a few of those myself, Mark. I love them.
Yeah, it's they're awesome books.
She,
So anyways,
Food of the Gods.
Yeah.
that was number one, and it was only 3 books, not 10. That's not bad.
Oh, slamming on Joe in the
There you go.
audience.
Calling you out, Joe.
I was not calling out Joe. So the next character, depending again who you talk to, and also which character you're referring to. I'm not talking about Nosferatu because he wasn't part of the Universal Monsters.
Right.
Dracula was.
Mhm.
So in
Talking about
1931,
Bela Lugosi,
those
Jack.
made that classic black and white movie that is an awesome movie.
Yes.
Yes.
It is an
Yes,
awesome
yes.
movie. And what entertains me is the credits at the end go whoop with 6 names. And that's it. Special effects. They didn't even have that. So this came out in 1962.
Mhm.
Nice.
Ooh, what a great cover.
Yeah, this is a great cover. What's really interesting about this series is this story really has nothing to do with Bram Stoker's Dracula. He shows up at the end. And this for Dell is issue number 1. So this one is 1962, November 10th. Dracula first came in comics and comic capers in 1944, but to more modern comics then. And then what's interesting with this Dell series is they did this to him.
What the hell?
Oh,
is that?
right.
Wow.
So
They did
this is issue 8 of this is issue 1. This is issue 8. Like
That makes
Yeah.
no sense.
It's not the same Dracula, but
No.
No.
but they sequentially numbered it. It's this.
Yeah.
This is Dracula the superhero.
Okay.
And it's a very bad story.
Yeah.
Even by
It's a
Dell's
horrible
standards.
story.
Ungood. That's very
No.
ungood.
This one I love because it talks about this is the secret cave. This is
I'm trying to-
Dracula's secret cave. They don't call it the Bat Cave. They
Right.
call it the secret cave.
I'm trying to
But he
figure
does
out
have his
what-
Drac utility belt.
Yeah, he does have a Dracula utility belt.
Now, before you go on, Mark, you
Yeah.
mentioned the black and white movies, and I've been going down that rabbit hole again. I'm good
Oh.
for it, like every couple months.
Mhm.
So I just watched The Mummy like 3-4 times again. I just watched The Wolfman a couple times. I just watched Black Moon from 1934.
I watched Black Lagoon last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one I watched too. Black Moon's a different one with from 1934 with Fay Ray with dark hair instead of her 1933 blonde hair in Kong. But the thing that kills me with these old black and white movies is like when they're done their story, they just end. It's just it's abrupt. You're like, and then all right, what are they gonna do? And it's done.
It's
Like
done.
the mummy is like the best case of that one in the Wolfman, right? Like he revives her, she looks up, that's it, it just ends. There's no like what happens to him.
Well, you're
Wolfman,
always-
same
I was
thing.
going to hope for a sequel. I'm just going to finish off Dracula really quick because I know
Oh,
you guys
you're
would
good.
want to see that. Even though I've shown this before, I just love it.
Yeah.
You know, like Neil Adams. This is the one that's signed by Neil Adams right here on the log, which just
Ooh.
very cool. So, you know, in 1972,
Would you say it's kind of neat?
it's kind of neat.
Mhm.
Giant sized
Little
pillars,
me.
Lilith, his daughter. That one's 1974. And then because we just like them so much, the
Oh,
Marvel
wow.
Classics,
Yeah.
Dracula. This is Gil Kane artwork on the cover.
Looks familiar.
Again, these
Mhm.
books are so underappreciated. They're just awesome books.
And the giant size ones too that they
Oh,
did.
the giant size
Wow.
books are tremendous. Just
Yeah.
they're so cool.
Ag-
So
Again, with Gil Kane covers on those too.
yep. So moving, we're on number 3 already, Gary. I'm
I know.
screaming along.
And we're only 15 minutes in.
Want me to slow down?
No, not at
I'm-
all.
I'm
Have
kind
fun.
of worried because Steve's not hit a button or said a thing yet. He's just sitting back.
He's saving it up.
It's taking all his focus.
He's in Zen mode right now. Let's
He
not
is.
get in the way.
I'm
Okay,
yapping away on
so-
the chat here.
So 1931, we're around now. Boris Karloff, Frankenstein's monster. I mean, you gotta. How can you not like Frankenstein's monster? So he first appeared in comics back in 1940 at Prize Comic number 7. And then they turned him into, they brought him back after World War II, and they kind of did this to him.
Yes.
Oh, poor Frankie.
Uh-huh.
So this is a hard copy collection of those books.
Looks like Scotty Young's first attempts.
Yeah, and it. Ooh,
Wow.
Mhm.
the
Are they
eyes.
trying to kidify him a little bit? Make it more accessible to all audiences? That's what it looks like.
I think so. Yeah, they made him at the very first few issues of that book. He was kind of like he was supposed to be funny, and then they started getting more serious and more serious and more serious as this series continued on in the Golden Age. But you can almost see the difference when you're reading through this from this look, right?
Right.
Sorry, to that look. So they moved on. So Classic Illustrated again. This
that's
is
a
the
nice
original
cover.
Yeah.
cover from the classic comic
Yeah.
cover. And this one is like, as Rob was saying, this one transferred to this
For the
edition of it.
second, I think that's the 2nd
Mhm.
print.
Yeah,
Because
this
when
is
you go
Yeah.
to the subsequent prints, then they change the cover to him walking through like the snow
Right.
or something.
Yeah,
all of a
yeah.
sudden.
This is he's running through the snow or walking through or trudging. I don't
Yeah.
does the monster ever run?
Plotting, I don't
He
know.
plods? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And what's kind of bizarre about this cover also, he's like the Jolly Green Giant. Like these are houses here, and that's a tree that he's got.
Oh
in his
wow.
hand.
Oh, they made him giant. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know why they did that, but anyway, it's so the you look at the HRN, like the highest number for reorder. That's how you'll know where the book falls in with its edition, because you can't always tell by what it says on the inside as to date of publication and all those things. So you really got to look at the back. But anyway, this is the second edition of that one. Sorry about the glare. And then, because Dell always loves to do Frankenstein, they did this one in 1964.
Oh, that one's nice.
Oh, that's a nice
Mhm.
cover too.
Yeah, I like that one.
Got an Alex Ross kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it's a very cool book.
Got a great Karloff vibe to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
how they wrote the Frankenstein at the top. That's neat.
Yep. And then you get into the classic comics of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
That's Peter Goldberg and Gene Colan.
Yep.
Colan
Mm-hmm.
art on this one. And just the last one because I have to, because.
Yeah.
Right. You got to
Yeah.
have Monster Frankenstein in there.
Oh, yeah, you do. And so that's 73, and that's Mike Plug.
Yeah.
Who did that. Number 4.
Those are awesome.
Is that okay? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So number 4 is the movie came out in 1933. This character's first appearance was in Mystic Comics number 2 in 1940. It's an H.G. Wells story. And according to what I saw and what I read on Key Collector and other places, they say this is his first appearance in comic books.
Really?
Really?
Don't know. This is the first appearance of H.G. Wells' version of the Invisible Man in comic books.
As
Right.
opposed to an Invisible Man.
Or
Yes.
first not appearance?
Yeah.
I mean, how would you know if he was there?
Exactly. So this is
He's been in every comic, don't you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is 1959. And just again, the artwork and from the books are pretty cool. And then because I love supernatural thrillers,
Yes.
I love this cover.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that one's 1973.
Yes, Tina, do it immediately.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
It is.
Yeah. So this is the Invisible Man, H.G. Wells' first Marvel appearance.
Okay. I'm just a sucker for those Marvel covers. They're just they're so
well,
good.
And then this is his second, the Invisible Man with the classics. So this is 1976. Marvel Classic Comics number 25. I'm not as jazzed about this cover as I am the other one. I really like the other one.
I agree. The other one's way better.
Yeah, this one again is Goldberg. This one actually, guess who did this one?
That's
Don't look it up.
Googling.
Oh, I'm not. I'm looking right at it.
Strenko, is it?
Yeah, it's true. It is.
Yeah.
That's who did this. Is Jim Steranko.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you when you realize, you can tell when you look at it and what's going on and the whole activity in the background and stuff.
Now, I really
So-
like the way the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen used the Invisible Man. Alan Moore used him in those
Yep.
books.
Yes.
Not so much the movie, but how
But
Alan
in the
Moore
book.
used him. Yeah.
I wasn't too jazzed on his fate in the second edition of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, what happened to him, but
It was a good movie, though.
Yes.
yes.
They're rebooting that movie. I heard too. So I'm
Really?
curious what
Really?
they do with it. Yeah.
That one should just stay dead.
No, well,
Yeah.
they're making a new one because that one, ended Sean Connery's career with everything that happened. But I had fun with it.
A lot of people had fun with it. So 1935 is the next movie for Universal Monsters. Allegedly, there was a movie with a werewolf, a silent movie that was done in 1913.
Is that the Invisible Wolf Man?
Yeah, this has got to be one of the laziest covers I've ever seen Dell do.
Like, what the hell? He's
Like
beaming up.
literally, I think whoever there must have been like a time crunch, and they went, "We need a cover."
Okay.
Okay, I mean, what does this down here got to do with? Yeah,
It's like giant ghost wolf man.
Right. Like
Yeah.
someone had a sketch and they put it on another piece of art. And
Yeah, that's what it looks like right over
Yeah.
top of it.
So
It's a remark.
this was Dell's Wolfman. About I think 1950 or so, but he appeared in Werewolf appeared in 1936 and stuff, but they never they didn't say it was the Wolfman that we know and love from
now that Dell one, did that follow the movie or was it just a completely original tale?
completely different. Not the story's not the same at all. And also the movie they talk about is Werewolf of London, not the other one. Not the black and white that you saw. Did you see the Werewolf of London or did you see the
American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
so
No, I watched the original Wolfman. I'm sorry, the Lon Chaney one I watched.
Yeah. Well, they don't consider that to be the very first Wolfman movie. There's a silent one that burned in 1924, and then there was a Werewolf in London.
Well, I meant like the first one for Universal, right?
Yeah, for Universal.
Yeah.
This is the first one for Universal. This comic doesn't really follow that very well at all. And what's really fun because Dell, I don't know if they thought they had to go to the way of the superheroes. They did exactly the same thing with Werewolf as they did with Dracula.
Yeah.
And this is a 3-issue series where they made Werewolf a superhero.
Now, do you have any of the Frankenstein ones where they made him a superhero?
I have, yeah, I do actually, Chuck, but I was looking to find them and I can't find them. Because
Now, what did you think of us? I mean, did you ever watch the Peter Nashi movies, the werewolf ones?
which ones name give me the titles. The
He there was like 6 of them. They're all like Italian cinema.
the foreign ones?
Yeah.
No, I have not seen those.
Oh, they're worth watching. They're fun, but you can see them all on Tubi
Oh, okay.
for free.
So this is one of my favorite werewolf ones because
man.
that's
Very
nice.
good.
That gets one.
That's Frazetta, that's Frazetta goodness, werewolf taking on Dracula.
Yeah.
And because, if I'm talking about Werewolf by Night, even though that's not the Universal Monsters, Werewolf by Night,
Yep.
and that, just
Excellent cover.
Yes.
What about? Do you have the Monsters Unleashed magazine though, with the werewolf on it?
Yep.
That's a great cover. That one.
it's an awesome cover.
That cover is so. I have it here. It's such a good cover.
Gary, I respect your show. It's supposed to be 10-1-1, not 310-1-1.
No, I
So-
just wanted to make sure that you've seen that cover. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
it is an
beautiful.
awesome, and that was part of my problem. I went, okay, no, I gotta no, I can't pull out every werewolf cover
Right?
because
Yes,
I
you
mean
can.
that was just the one eerie this. Yeah. Anyway, so sticking with the Universal Monsters theme, number 6.
Team.
1932, Boris Karloff, black and white, The Mummy. How can you knock that? And interesting, 1973, Supernatural Thrillers. After this one is the only one that really kind of almost links in, but doesn't. So you have the Dell Mummy. This one follows the movie.
Mhm.
So
okay.
this one's pretty cool. I like it.
And that movie's so good. Like
Yeah, the movie is awesome.
his
The movie
stoic
is so good.
performance and I can't remember her name right now, but she was fantastic in it too.
Yep. And then the Marvel rendition under Supernatural Thrillers. So this is the Living Mummy from like 1973, and Goldberg again, Peter Goldberg doing the covers and the illustration.
Backhand smash.
Yeah. Now,
That whole series is just so underrated. That Supernatural Thrillers series.
Yeah. and it's not expensive, Chuck, is it?
No, it's not. No.
Like this is an awesome series. It is such a good series. Like you could pick up these books, like almost all of them, very, very inexpensively. So
Here we go. Rabbit hole again. Yep.
yeah,
Now,
go
the
ahead.
Living Mummy, that only went for like 18 issues, right?
Supernatural Thrillers went for more than that, but the Living Mummy is only in there for part of it.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe what I
The
think
last
like
12 or so.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of the Frankenstein book? Was
Yeah,
like
the
I think the
Frankenstein
Frankenstein
book
was 18.
Yeah, it went to 18. So we're to number 7. So this one is a 1941 movie, Universal Monsters, starring Spencer Tracy, of all people, which just kind of makes, if you knew any Spencer Tracy movies, he was always in rom-coms and always the good guy. In this particular movie, he was not. And he, I
It was
wish
probably his favorite one to act in because he got to play against Roll.
he did.
That's right.
He got to play Dr. Jekyll.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wish I had the original of this one, but I don't yet. Still looking to find a decent copy of Classic. What's interesting is this one is slightly different than the original Classic comic edition.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So this book, Classic Comics, was cited along with Uncle Tom's Cabin in Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah.
Because within the first 2 pages of this book, Mr. Hyde beats a young girl to death with his cane.
Ooh.
Now, in the Classic Comics, he kills her. In this one, she's very much alive. And
Just gives her a good whooping, huh?
I'm
Yeah.
not dead yet.
Yeah, she's not dead yet. The panel
Good for you,
specifically says that she's crying. So at some point, somebody went, "Oh yeah, I guess we can't do that." So they slightly changed it. Now,
Alternate reality.
there's not a lot of examples of these characters in comic books,
Right.
which is really unfortunate.
Right. Just the things that were inspired from it, like the Hulk
Yep.
and stuff.
So again, Marvel Supernatural Thrillers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 1973.
Mm-hmm.
It follows the story to a T, and then again the same thing.
Right.
Marvel Classics, and I like this cover much better than I like the other one actually. The Classics illustrated cover I love with the shadow in behind and stuff, but
Well, that's a Gil Kane, isn't it? Right there.
this one, yeah, that's Gil Kane.
It might interest you to know, Mark, that they're also developing a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie, but role reversal, where Hyde is predominant personality and he changes into Dr. Jekyll.
Ooh, that's a nice twist.
So what does he go out and rescue babies when he's?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's in development.
He works
so
in a
hopefully
nunnery
it'll
on the
see it
side.
through.
You see that way when he
What?
transfers back, it's a shock to everybody.
You know, that's
And-
when the date night starts out good, Mark, but it ends up ugly.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Well, who hasn't like before? You know, like
No,
that life.
no Hulk though. I mean, that's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Man.
But I'll go back to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Now, one of the few things that movie did well was the Mr. Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde relationship was about the only thing that movie did really well.
Yep.
And I thought that Moore in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen really nailed those characters.
Absolutely.
So well.
That I wish they hadn't have so exaggerated it.
Mhm.
But yeah, the relationship between the two was really, really well done. Like I love the way that they wrote that.
Yeah.
Like Moore just knocked it out of the park.
And we had we had two other ones. We had Marvel had the Hulk, and they have Hyde.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Hyde and yeah. They had both. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember where was Hyde originally a Daredevil villain or a Spider-Man villain?
Thor.
Was he Thor?
I think he appears in Journey to Mystery, actually.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Hulk
Really?
fight Hyde. That'd be good.
That'd be interesting. So the next one is near and dear to my heart, and I love the character, and I wish we could find more of it. So this movie came out in 1954. Gary just watched it. But here's a trivia for you. What is the character's actual name, Gary?
What character are we talking about?
The creature
Oh, okay.
from the Black Lagoon.
I don't remember the creature from the Black Lagoon's actual name.
Gilman.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You know,
No,
Mark,
Very original.
Not very.
to this
original.
day,
What's
when I
that?
watch that movie, I'm still amazed at how clear the underwater cinematography
it's
was. for the
phenomenal.
time. It's amazing.
Phenomenal. So here's another fun trivia for you. Guess what? The first comic book appearance of Gilman, the creature from the Black Lagoon, was in.
Classic
Is it-
Illustrated.
It was in Archie's comics.
Yeah.
I don't remember the issue, but I've seen the
There
cover.
you go, Chuck.
Chuck.
I have no prize for it. Gary will send you something.
A Laurel and hearty handshake.
Yes. Archie's Pal Jughead number 79 in 1961. That is the creature of the Black Lagoon's very first comic book appearance, and he's on the cover.
No, do you have the Arthur Adams creature from the Black Lagoon book?
No.
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah. I just have my near and dear love this guy.
That is such a, and yours is in great shape. Usually, if you see that cover, it's beat to hell.
The
Yeah.
poster from that movie is phenomenal too.
Oh, the posters are amazing. Those are like you would talk about a rabbit hole. Holy moly, trying to get
Oh,
those.
yeah.
Like
They're pricey.
holy cow. So the next one, number 9, is kind of in one that a lot of people don't consider, but it is a Universal movie, believe it or not. Through a different sort, and it has one of my favorite horror movie actors, and it is
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I love that guy.
Vincent
And
Price.
a rated
Alan Poe goodness, The Raven.
and a rated G horror movie too,
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
and
19
also one of Jack Nicholson's first roles.
yeah, this is there's a lot of neat things attached to this. 1963. For the Raven was first published by Edgar Allan Poe in the 1800s, like 18. Chuck, you're the college professor. What year was that? Pick one. We'll say you're right.
The Raven, probably the 1820s, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
1820s.
So what's kind of cool is those books, and I don't know if any of you have read the Image Dracula book yet.
1845.
Oh, there we go. 1845. Cool. So I read the first Dracula book because I love horror, and they're doing the Universal Monsters, and I'm just thinking, you have this huge, deep pool of characters, and Dracula. Like, I have more Dracula books than I know what to do with. Every rendition of Dracula you can imagine, and there's very limited numbers of Gilman. There's very limited numbers of Hunchback. There's very limited numbers of Invisible Man. Like, there's more Wolfman because of Werewolf by Night, but not the Wolfman. And I was so disappointed that they didn't give us Universal Monsters that we haven't seen yet. And I don't know if they were afraid of, because of the disastrous movie The Mummy, that they were doing the Universal Monsters. That was the first one they put out. But I mean, there's a really cool
supposed to be. They were supposed to be doing them based.
Yeah.
Connected, yeah,
right. But they went to act. I mean, but hey, I enjoyed The Mummy, even though it wasn't a horror movie.
We've seen updates of the Invisible Man,
right,
over various times, and
the Kevin Bacon one, and then they had that one with the girl from.
Again, and I'll continue to argue that there's no difference between Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and the Hulk. So we've seen a lot of Hulk movies, and
no, but we really need some more Creature from the Black Lagoon movies.
We do.
It's true. Yeah.
We do. Anyway,
I want to see the Creature from the Black Lagoon meets Return to Blue Lagoon or something like that. That'd be. Let's see that mashup.
Abbott and Costello movies together here. So,
Brooke Shields or something, pulling her down. So my book 10 is actually about maybe 4 or 5 books.
Okay.
They're honorable mentions, and they're still linked to that universe. So this was 1964. It's another Vincent Price, Twice Told Tales.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a cool book and cool stories. Like and Sebastian Cabot, like he was a good guy on TV. Everyone loved Sebastian Cabot. You would most trusted guy on TV, but he's poisoning people in this. So there's 3 stories in this book. The first one is Vincent Price brings back his long dead wife and reanimates her because he misses her so much. That doesn't go well. And then the House of Seven Gables is another one of the stories. And then the last one is just the one that's the most twisted of the 3. And it is a very, very protective father who injects his daughter with all these different weird chemicals so that if anyone touches her, they are poisoned and die.
Excellent.
Wow.
Does he just hire a bouncer or something to sit outside the door when she brings home a date?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
It's clean your shotgun like the rest of us. God damn it.
Yeah.
You're friends with the wrestling coach.
Very, very cool story. Friends with the wrestling coach. Anyway, so another one, 1964. Again, Dell's doing these movies, Mask of the Red Death. That's, Edgar Allan Poe. You can't beat that. And these books are coming out just about the same year, or if not very shortly after the movie comes out. So they're promoting the movie and sending out a comic book. What an odd marketing idea, eh?
Right.
Almost like you're trying to get the people who read the comics to go to your movies and go to the movies to read your comics. Whoever thought of that? That's
bizarre.
It is. And then 1965, Two on a Guillotine.
Oh man, that's
nice.
Nice.
Wow.
Look at that.
So Connie Stevens in this movie. And who's this guy? Guess.
Vincent Price.
No. He used to be on the original Batman show.
Burt Ward?
No.
Oh,
No.
Batman
Caesar,
himself. Right?
Caesar Romero.
I was just saying.
Okay.
Caesar Romero.
Yeah, the original Joker.
Did they ever do a Last Man on Earth comic from his movie?
No. Not that I'm aware of. Unless you guys, I don't know, Chuck, Rob, do you know if they've ever done that?
I don't know.
So this
It
is
would have been
Gary's
like
10-1-1 trivia night.
Yeah. So there's only two more in the honorable mention, and then I'm going to move on to my last. So then I had to put this one in just
It
because
does not
this
appear
is so
so.
cool. So this is Boris Karloff and Die Monster Die. 1965. He was 78 years old when he was making this movie.
It just goes to show you're never too old.
Never too old. Like he passed away when he was 84, but he was. And the cool thing is, I think this is his last movie.
Never seen that one.
And well, get some popcorn and just sit back and try not to be underwhelmed. But anyway, like he got to play a good guy in one of his last movies, which I thought was pretty cool. He's fighting the monster as opposed to him being the monster.
Okay.
That is neat.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's neat to coin a phrase. And then the last one from 1962, because it's such a good year. So many good things came out.
Tales from the Tomb.
Tales
Very
from the
cool cover.
It's not just a Dell. That is a giant Dell.
That's a giant Dell. So 1962.
That's
Awesome stories, awesome cover, just all around good horror. Like it's fun.
just gesturing at you. Come here.
Yeah, come. So that's my pile of 10 books, Gary.
Those are amazing books.
They're neat.
They're neat. They're kind of neat. So the storybook is it's more of I'm intrigued by it, and I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion. So if I can get you all wound up about it.
Excellent.
One of my favorite artists, and he writes great horror stories, and he's I just like his stuff, is Mike Mignola.
Oh yeah.
Hellboy and Abe Sip, and like Lord Baltimore and all those characters that are just awesome. So
R.I.P.D.
What's that?
It said R.I.P.D. and
Yep, R.I.P.D. Like there's so many very, very cool stories. So I think you know that I try to find artists' first work, first covers, and stuff. And I do research and I dig and I look and I try to find stuff, and I find bizarre artwork that they've done, and it's never what you fully expect. But I did get my hands on this. This is Mike Mignola's very first cover.
Cool.
Comic reader.
wow.
So this is 1981 Comic Reader 196. His first interior art, Gary. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I direct this right to you, is issue 183, and it's Red Sonja
Oh.
that he draws.
Wow. I'm gonna have to hunt that book down now.
Now, what intrigues me about what my story is because I'm always looking to see, and I go, oh, great, I got the first cover. And because I got some other books when I found this Comic Reader, because Comic Reader's not a real, like usually they're bundled. They're not usually bundled. Right. But I found another one that I went, okay, this is kind of cool. And it's this one. Okay.
Wow.
So, but what's interesting, so this is August 1981, November, issue 193. This one is November 1981, issue 196. Allegedly, Mike Mignola's first cover. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
See his signature? It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So remember this one, which is older than that one.
And I've never seen that cover. That's beautiful.
On the back.
That's a great cover. Back painting of Aquaman.
Damn.
Oops. Mignola.
Huh.
Wow. Right in the corner.
Yep. So is the back cover not a cover?
Right.
The cover.
Apparently
the
not.
back cover. It's not the front of the cover.
This
It is weird.
What's that?
Said that is weird.
I know. And this is not he doesn't get credit for a cover on this book. And any of the
Front
thing where
cover
they're
always
saying,
wins.
what's that?
Front cover always wins.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's right.
Apparently, but if it should it, because that's a pretty cool cover.
Right. And I thought you were going to pull out his Solomon Kane cover that nobody knows about from that 6-issue limited series.
No, I could.
Because I got a couple of that. That's a great cover too, and no one ever knows it's him.
Cover. That series, because I love Solomon Kane.
Whoever wrote the history just didn't turn that one around, maybe.
Apparently, because this is an awesome cover. I mean, it's
Yeah,
Aquaman, which is kind of sad, but
No, but that's a great Aquaman cover, though. I mean,
it is. Isn't
right.
that a cool
You know.
cover? And Mignola did it. He signed it. Oops, over here, right there. That's his signature.
That's
Uh-oh.
it.
Joe says you're making trouble, Mark.
I could be.
Call CGC. Sort of.
Anyway, so that's my storybook. I just found that kind of interesting because I don't know. A cover is a cover. Because
That's very interesting.
so whether
Like,
they're
because I
facing
agree
on
with
the
you, it's a
internet
cover.
that way or this way. What's that?
Right, a cover's a cover.
A cover's a cover.
Yeah.
So, as I said before, for my spec book, as I said before, they're coming out with Universal Monsters. And if you haven't noticed, there's one Universal Monster that I haven't mentioned. And I don't know if anybody thought
I
about
think
it.
I know what it is. Should I guess?
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Bride of Frankenstein?
No. But I get why you would think of that.
Mhm.
I almost lump her as a sequel to Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which is just me being snobby in the world of monster movies.
Right.
But his movie premiere was in 1925 by Lon Chaney, and it was a silent movie.
Nosferatu?
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom
Oh,
of the
yes.
Opera.
Phantom of the Opera,
Bingo.
yes.
Yep.
Now, his first appearance in comics was Scream magazine in 1973, allegedly, inside, not on the cover. And there's a graphic novel based upon the musical that came out.
hmm
And Eternity Comics may allegedly did something in 1988, but I'm still trying to pin it down as to what they did. But for whatever reason, Dell didn't do Phantom of the Opera. Marvel didn't do it. Classics didn't do it. There's no Phantom of the Opera comics per se that where he's the lead bad guy in the comic world. So if Image does follow up and do a true I didn't catch all that. I'll read it in a sec.
Oh, hold on. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Gord's always got cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. If Image actually does follow the monsters and actually does Phantom of the Opera as opposed to the musical, like the one for Eternity Comics in 1988 is not true to the 1925 screenplay and story, I don't think. And the other ones that I've ever been able to find is only one, and it's the Sherlock Holmes and the Ghost of the Opera, not Phantom of the Opera. So if Image does do a Universal Monsters and true to form and actually writes it the way the Phantom of the Opera was originally presented, technically, I think that would be the first appearance in his own book of Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and I heard they were doing Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park in comics. So I'm just kidding.
Don't talk to me about Phantom of the Paradise because that was just.
But you know what's cool though is that's a missed opportunity because could you see, and just to pick an artist from that time, could you see a Bernie Wrightson Phantom of the Opera?
That's that's what I don't get. So
with his
actually,
detailed backgrounds in the cathedral and everything.
So I actually, Gary, don't have a book to show you for this back because from anything I've looked, I can't find one.
Well, it's a horror show, and so you have a ghost spec, so it works.
So it's there you go.
Phantom
It's a
of the
horror
Spec.
show and it's a ghost spec. I hope if they do it, they actually do it right. And they I mean, the artwork that you could do with that gothic horror of Phantom of the Opera, like you're right about Bernie Wrightson, but there's so many people that if they let them loose on that,
Right.
with the sewers of Paris and all of that, it could be so cool. So I hope it's not just a rendition of Lloyd Webber's musical, because I don't want that as my horror book. I want, it was, I went to see the Phantom of the Opera a couple of times. We took our kids and I really enjoyed it, but I'd like to see in comic form an actual rendition.
Adaptation, yeah.
That would be
There's some graphic
Phantom of the
novels.
Opera.
that would be a great one if you get Mike Plug out of retirement, if he's still drawing stuff,
Oh,
or get Tom Mandrake to do it. You think about all of his work on the Spectre and transforming that to
Yeah.
France
oh,
in the
can
19th
you-
century.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, it's kind of unlimited, and I hope that it's on the books for Image Skybound, and I hope that they actually are going to give these Universal monsters the credit they need and give them some of the love they need and attention, like Creature of the Black Lagoon, Gilman.
Mhm.
What an incredibly cool character that we never really used again. There's always been these like creatures and monsters and that look like him, but it's never been him.
Right. Even the Guillermo del Toro one from a few years back, it was
Yeah.
good, but it wasn't Creature from the Black Lagoon.
No. It wasn't Creature from the Black Lagoon. It was, it was Abe Sapien that was just watered down.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think it's it is for horror collectors.
Today's effects. Oh, it'd be
I
so
know.
good.
Yeah. So for horror collectors like me, I'm excited. I hope I get a chance to buy that.
Now, Mark, I remember too when I was watching the trailer back in the day for Monster Squad, and you saw that little clip of Creature from the Black Lagoon. I got all excited, and then he was barely in the damn movie.
Yeah, he wasn't like.
Mhm.
I was like, all right. So basically, what they showed me in the trailer was what was in the movie, and that was it.
That was it. Like he's been teased about. He's been haunted. Like you see like the hand come up out of the water and disappear. You never really see what he could do. And for did I like Disney's Werewolf by Night? Absolutely, I did. I quite enjoyed it. I just
Black and white or the color.
I like the black and
Like
white
both.
because I love the old black and white. I like that contrast of the grays and the grayscale and because I love those old black and white movies. So, and I'm also like, a Man-Thing fan. So I got to see Man-Thing on the screen and I was like, woo-hoo.
And I thought it was weird that Jack Russell was older.
Yeah. It was.
It gave you a different Jack Russell too.
Yeah, it was a little different. I really enjoyed the way they did it. It reminded me of some of the old Gothic over the top horror movies.
When he grabbed that guy's head and the fear burned him, I was like, that's cool.
Yep. Like,
I hope they follow up with that world because there's so much you can do with those Marvel horror characters. And do the indirect tie-ins with Doctor Strange. Bring in Brother Voodoo, who supposedly was hanging around the background scenes or something. And
there's so much they could do that is so cool. There's so many monsters, like the like all of the Bronze Age horror books that Marvel pumped out. Like I've got so many of them, and I've just about finished all of my runs. I'm just like 1 or 2 books here and there to do. And they're just fun reads. Some of the monsters are so cool, and some of the consistent characters that they could do, Chuck. I just like, there's so much potential there.
So Mark, what do you think of the Creature Commandos coming from our buddy James Gunn? Or what do you think of the Creature Commandos in general?
I see. I have all of those books.
You're seeing
and another
Steve's shocked face right now. So
Yeah,
you know.
that's your shock face.
You know what I'd like to see, like developed on a Netflix or a Hulu or an HBO Max or something, is a weird war, but make it like Twilight Zone. It's going to be a different tale every time, or make it an hour long with 3 different stories in it.
Well, and maybe I hope we can get something like that. But Chuck, I hope they don't bollocks it up. Like, I don't want it to be campy, but I also don't want it so much over the top that you can't, take your whole family to enjoy the movie, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'd like it to have it somewhere in the middle, because really, you think about it. Okay, for Creature Commandos, you got Frankenstein's monster, and you like you've got them all, like the like Medusa. How are they going to do a Medusa without doing Medusa?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see, but yeah, like as I said, when I was putting together this pile of books, like I went, okay, I got an hour.
Well, that was an hour well spent putting those
I
together.
hope so.
Those are great.
I hope so. It's I do love the old horror books. I love the Bronze Age. I like this Silver Age. I love the way that they've been treated well by some comics. And then you see what Dell did with those characters afterwards, and not treated well. And it's just some of the books that just aren't given enough love, like those Marvel classics and the super thriller ones. Like, those are good books. Well done, like well illustrated.
I'd like to see a good retelling of, and I had the classics illustrated of this, but The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, yeah.
But so let me ask you if you've seen this movie. This came out a few years ago. It's a war movie and a horror movie, and it's really good. And it has Wyatt Russell, the guy who played U.S. Agent, and it's called Overlord.
Overlord, that rings a bell.
It is really good. It's like you start watching it and you don't expect what happens in it.
I can't remember if I just seen the trailers for it or I actually saw it. But there's some really good war horror movies. The Keep is one that was a really good movie. I love quite enjoyed it. Like, like I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with some of the stuff that Marvel's playing around with right now, and DC's playing around with a bit too, with the werewolves, and
they just stated that Blade is going to be rated R. It's back in development again.
Is it back in development?
Yep.
And it needs to be if they're going to do it right.
And they're going for an R rating with it.
Well, if they're going to do it right, they need to. So
right.
But anyway, so that's for your viewing interest.
More classic horror, less slasher.
Yeah, more classic horror, less slasher. Like, I don't need to see 17,000 gallons of blood to be, and I think that's why I also like the black and white movies, because so many things you're left to your imagination, and it's suggested, and it's like they use shadow.
More with shadows, yeah.
Or sometimes you just need good atmosphere and storytelling. Like John Carpenter's The Fog. There's not one drop of blood in The Fog.
No, and it scares the pants off you.
But the storytelling is so good in that movie.
Yep. Yeah, that movie, when it came out, I was just I think just still in high school. And it was one of those movies that was like, holy crap. Like, that's what I like, and that's why I think why I like the Werewolf by Night in black and white, because it was shadowy, and the lighting, and you didn't see great big gobs of red blood. You knew exactly what was kind of going on, and I like those. And and
the payoff of him turning into the werewolf was really good in that.
It was, and I agree with that statement. I want to see Man-Thing again,
and I want to shoot it on film. Damn it.
I want to see Van Helsing.
Oh, Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sure.
You had to say that, didn't you?
I had to pick.
Okay, if you want
Yeah,
the
there you go.
classic,
The Cabinet Dr. Caligari. That's one of my favorites. Good call, Gore.
how about Fearless Vampire Hunters? If you want to have a really good vampire movie.
Well, you had the Freak Show, one of the early,
Yep.
Horror movies in the silent era. That was just that, and that had Chaney in it also, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. It had it. Yeah, it did have Chaney in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty sure it did.
I think it's one of his first movies. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, and I've
And,
still been going down the horror rabbit hole. Like I'll watch horror like 8 out of the 12 months of the year or 9. It doesn't. I just love it.
Well, there's so much out there that it doesn't have to gross you out. It doesn't have to make you feel squeamish. It just needs to give you a good scare and give you, like, it's like The Fog. It's like, some of those long shots of Lon Chaney in the Dracula movie in the black and white, some of it is amazing stuff that is just so cool. Anyway, that's my cheese.
Yeah, the original Wicker Man with Edward Woodward is really good, especially if you don't know the ending.
Well, that kind of takes away the fun of the movie if you know the ending. Steve, don't even say it.
There's a lot more fun to that movie than just the ending.
Yes.
So,
but no, I love that. But no, great books, Mark. That was absolute joy. Anytime I love horror, doesn't matter the time of year.
Good.
And I mean, you're talking to a guy that started reading Clive Barker when he was 11 years old. So I read him my whole life.
That would explain some things, Gary. That would,
right. But no, I've always loved horror. It's a sweet spot for me. And what I like is you showed me some covers I've never seen tonight, which were great.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I was hoping to bring you some that I know I've shown you the Tomb of Dracula one before, but it's kind of like you can't really talk about Dracula without showing that book.
Right. But who's your favorite horror creature though altogether?
Oh. In all honesty, man, that's tough. I love The Invisible Man, the original, like the classic story. Is one of my favorite. And I also really, really like the original Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because it is such a fascinating, the two characters and stuff. Like, I love those two original stories are two of my favorite. And I really like it when they're done well. And I haven't seen either of those characters done really well in a long, long time. So
there's always hope.
There's always hope. And, we'll see what Image and Skybound do. Hopefully, I know they watch your channel, Gary. So
yeah.
Gary carries great influence over those publishers.
I think the only person from any publisher that watches my channel is from Titan Comics. That's it.
Jim Zub.
Right.
It's a start. It's a start, Gary. It's a start.
But no, excellent books, Mark, and thank you so much for bringing them. That was a complete 100% joy.
Good. I'm glad hopefully everybody in the chat liked it as well. So,
and we'll go around real quick. Rob, what have you got coming up, sir?
Well, I had my Monday mail call earlier. So Thursday, I'll have a mystery box from Old Man Collectibles, and then Saturday, we'll be doing Only Slaps. And my guest this week will be Bronze Age Nerd.
Nice.
Oh. So we both got a Bronze Age person on our schedules this week, because on Thursday I have Bronze Age Brian on doing his 1011.
No relation.
Right. So couple Bronze Agers.
I guess nobody wants to be Stone Age.
Right.
That's
Maybe
the Flintstones.
No, I said stone, not stoned.
Duh.
Those platinum age
I
books
think
ain't gonna
Mark's
throw
more
themselves.
approaching platinum age anyway. No, just kidding.
thanks, Gary.
Steve, what's coming up for you?
I'm going to drop a video tomorrow of an unbagging instead of an unboxing. So something different. And continuing on with my mad unveilings.
There you go. And Chuck, anything coming up for you on Joe's channel or anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on there on when we do the pickups for the month.
17th.
On the 17th. We've got some great stuff on there, and I'm sure I'll be popping up in various sundry places outside of that. So,
And Mark, are you going to be on there as well?
Yep. I believe Joe's going to let me come back on and show some of the fun stuff I've picked up. So
Very nice. Well, gents, first I want to thank my hosts. Thank you guys for being my co-host. I appreciate you all being here and supporting. Mark, thanks for coming on again.
thanks for having me.
You guys have been on my show so much. You guys help make this something that's nice for me and special for me. So I really appreciate you guys being on. So thank you all very much. Everyone in the crowd, thank you so much for showing up to support everybody here. Links are in the description below to sub everybody up and just follow them on Instagram if you haven't. Especially Mark, he posts a lot, so you want to make sure you're there for his next post. You've had that one post for a while, like your whole career.
I think I've done one.
Right. But
I'm saving myself.
there
I
you
don't
go.
want to take anything away from you guys.
But thank you guys all so much, and thank you to the audience. And if you're catching us on the rewind, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and a comment, and we appreciate you guys all. And until
Hell, if you're here right now, hit the thumbs up before you leave.
but well, you know, Tina was taking care of that, telling people to hit the
Okay.
thumbs up.
Good.
Tina's good about that. But until next time, guys, keep it casual.